Okay, people. So in continuation with in continuation with our biology part, okay, we have here the circulation. Okay, so in circulation we were studying about. We have finished off with the heart of fishes. We have finished off with the heart of amphibians. Now we'll precisely talk about the heart of reptiles. Okay, how is the heart of reptiles arranged? So, see, the reason why we have to study and understand this is because the human heart is a very complex structure. So we have to understand the evolutionary aspect of development of human heart. It is just not developed like that. So there's a lot of evolution that has happened. So by and large, the reptilian heart is a 3-chambered heart, which means that there are 2 auricles, that is left and right auricle, and there is a ventricle. But we also call it a 3.5-chambered heart. The reason why we call it a 3.5-chambered heart is because the ventricles have undergone partial separation. So there is a partial separation that the ventricles have undergone, and that's the reason we call it as a 3.5-chambered heart. In most reptiles, complete division of auricles. So there is a complete division of auricles. So the auricles are now completely divided into left and right auricles. So the third compartment is ventricles, and no complete separation, but there is an interventricular septum. So there is an interventricular septum which is there, which we are going to study in the heart. Okay, so there is a partial separation between the ventricles, and that's the reason we don't call it a complete 4-chambered heart, but a 3.5-chambered heart. Okay, so what are the exceptions to this? Crocodiles, alligators, and gavialis all have 4-chambered heart. So in crocodiles, alligators, and gavialis all have 4-chambered heart amongst reptiles. Otherwise, most of the reptiles have 3.5-chambered heart. Okay, so these reptiles like crocodiles, alligators, and gavialis, they have 4-chambered heart like higher animals of bird and mammals. Now, accessory chambers. What are the accessory chambers out here? Sinus venosus, which is basically collecting the deoxygenated blood, is present but reduced. It's little reduced. It's not of that high proportion as it is in fishes and amphibians. Okay, truncus arteriosus is now divided into 2 systemic arches, 1 pulmonary arch, 2 systemic arches and 1 pulmonary arch. So the pulmonary arch is basically carrying the deoxygenated blood to the heart, and the systemic arches are carrying the blood to the different organs of the body. Okay, so if we look into the evolutionary aspect, if we recall, fishes have a proper 2-chambered heart, 1 auricle, 1 ventricle. Okay, and when we come to their accessory organs, the fishes had sinus venosus. I'm sorry, they had sinus venosus and they had sinus venosus and conus arteriosus in terms of the accessory organs, and they had a 2-chambered heart. When we come to amphibians also have a 2-chambered heart, but the sinus venosus, and they have the accessory organ of sinus venosus. The conus arteriosus is now modified to truncus arteriosus. So the conus arteriosus is modified to truncus arteriosus. When we come to reptiles, they have a 3.5-chambered heart. Sinus venosus is still there, but the truncus arteriosus is now modified to 3 arcs. So this is modified to 3 arcs. So the truncus arteriosus is modified to 3 systemic arches. So one is the pulmonary arch. So there are 2 systemic arch and one is the pulmonary arch. So let's look at the heart part here. This is basically a reptilian heart. It will have a ventricle and it will have 2 auricles. So we have a right auricle and a left auricle. We have a pulmonary artery. We have systemic arches. So we have a pulmonary artery here which supplies blood to the lungs, and we have systemic arches. So in this we have an interventricular septum. So it will not allow the blood to mix from the heart. We have sinus venosus, which actually collects the deoxygenated blood, and we have here 2 systemic arches and the pulmonary. So here, if you look at it, the truncus arteriosus has divided into 3, 2 systemic arches and 1 pulmonary arch. So 1 pulmonary arch and 2 systemic arcs. So reptilian heart, as partition not complete, mixing takes place. So since the partition is not complete, the mixing of the reptilian heart takes place. In reptilians, 2 systemic arches. In birds and mammals, only 1. So in reptiles, we have 2 systems. See, if you look into this, see what happens is, this is deoxygenated blood which comes into the sinus venosus. From the sinus venosus, it enters the right auricle. From the right auricle, it enters the ventricle. We cannot still call it proper right ventricle, but it enters. Okay. Now, in the left auricle, what happens is, oxygenated blood from the lungs enters, okay, and it enters in the ventricle. Now look at this. Obviously, this blood here and this blood here will get mixed, as the ventricular septum is not a proper division. So what will be pumped? So this is basically truncus arteriosus, which is getting divided into 2 systemic arches and 1 pulmonary artery. Now these 2 systemic arches, if you look into it, it will be something like this. It will come like this from one side, and this will come from the other side. This will basically come from the other side, and the 2 will join to form the main aorta. The 2 will join to form the main aorta. Okay, so these 2 systemic arches will basically join to form the main aorta. Okay, so as partition is not complete, mixing takes place. In reptiles, 2 SAs are present, which is basically systemic arches. In birds and mammals, it's only 1. Okay, the pulmonary artery basically carries, again, if you look into it, the pulmonary artery is carrying the deoxygenated blood. We cannot call it deoxygenated because it is mixed blood. The oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood is more or less mixed, but we can say that some higher quantity of deoxygenated blood is here and some lower quantity of deoxygenated blood is here. At the same time, some higher quantity of oxygenated blood is here and some lower quantity of oxygenated blood is here. Okay, now the pulmonary artery carries mixed blood to the ventricles, and the systemic arches basically carry mixed blood to the entire body. Okay, so we call this type of blood, so this type of blood pumping which happens is basically mixed blood which is getting pumped up. So in amphibians also we called it as arteriovenous heart. Arteriovenous heart. So this is basically carrying a little amount of deoxygenated blood, and hence this type of heart is known as arteriovenous heart. Okay, now again the circulation here will be termed as double circulation. Why? Because 2 sinus arteriosus are joining to form the aorta. So if you look into it, these 2 sinus arteriosus are joining to form, no, not because of this, but the double circulation, these 2 sinus arteriosus are joining to form the aorta. But the reason why it is called double circulation is because the heart is interacting with the same blood twice before pumping it to the different organs. So the blood is coming from here, it's getting collected in the sinus venosus, passes through the right auricle, goes into the ventricle, it is pumped into the pulmonary artery. After being oxygenated, it comes back again to the heart. So this same blood is now getting pumped into the different organs. So the same blood is coming to the heart twice, once in primarily in deoxygenated form and the other one in oxygenated form. So that's the reason it is known as double circulation. And these 2 sinus arteriosus basically join to form the aorta. So this is the reptilian mechanism of circulation, and we will now move on to the mammal mechanism. But before this, we need to have a proper idea as to how the heart is evolving in bits and pieces from one organism to the other. Okay. Okay, so we are going to talk about single circulation and double circulation here. Okay, single circulation and double circulation. As we have seen that certain animals like fishes, not certain animals, only fishes basically have single circulation, in which the blood which is supplied to different organs of the body crosses through the heart only once. Okay, so we have seen that in the fishes it basically passes on to the gills. The heart is just pumping the blood. The only mechanism out here is pumping the blood. It's the gills where the oxygen exchange takes place. Okay, so in single circulation, blood flows only once through the heart in a complete cycle. So in a complete cycle, it flows through the heart only once. Double circulation, as the name itself suggests, blood flows through the two different systems from the heart, one to lungs and to another one to body. So basically the blood which is pumped on to the different organs of the body is crossing the heart twice. Once it comes in the form of deoxygenated blood and it is pumped to the lungs, wherein again the oxygenated blood enters. So the same blood is basically entering, one with oxygen and one without oxygen. So that's the reason it is known as double circulation. Heart pumps deoxygenated blood only. This is very important. So in other words, there is no contribution by heart to pump oxygenated blood. It is just acting as a pumping organ. So it is pumping deoxygenated blood, which happens in the case of fishes, and this deoxygenated blood gets carried all the way to the gills, wherein it gets oxygenated. Whereas here, if you look at it, the heart pumps deoxygenated blood to lungs and oxygenated blood to body. So it pumps deoxygenated blood to lungs, where it gets oxygenated, comes back to the heart, and this oxygenated blood is pumped to various parts of the body. Okay, blood is oxygenated by gills. So here the blood is actually oxygenated by gills, and that oxygenated blood doesn't come to the heart. It is carrying with the same speed, it gets carried away. Okay, so blood is oxygenated by lungs out here. So here the blood is oxygenated by lungs. It occurs only in fish. It occurs in amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals. So all other higher organisms than fish, like amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, will have a double circulatory system, in which the blood which is basically pumped into the various organs of the body by the heart is actually crossing the heart twice in a complete cycle. That's the reason it is known as double circulation. Now we'll talk about the heart which we find in birds and mammals. This is one of the most evolved forms of heart. Okay, one of the most evolved forms of heart, because it will have proper boundaries out here. This will have a proper separation as well. So the separation, as we saw, the separation evolved, right? In the cases of amphibians, there was hardly any separation. In the cases of basically if we look into the reptiles, there was half septum. Basically the separation was not complete. There was an intervallicular septa, but that was not complete. So that is the reason it was 3.5 chambered. We saw that in fishes it was 2 chambered. In amphibians it was basically 3 chambered, and in reptiles it was 3.5 chambered. But now there is a proper 4 chambered heart. So this is a proper, the heart is now completely 4 chambered. So it will have a right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle and left ventricle. So this is basically the pulmonary artery, which will carry the blood to the oxygen to the lungs for oxygenation. So there is a complete septa between right auricle and left auricle, and left ventricle and right ventricle. So there is basically a complete septa. No blood mixing will happen, as it has happened till now between amphibians and reptiles. There will be no blood mixing at all. Okay, so pure oxygenated blood will be transferred to various organs of the body by the heart. Okay, so deoxygenated blood actually comes, deoxygenated blood from the lungs comes, and it is basically the oxygenated blood is pumped by the heart to the body. So deoxygenated blood is pumped to the lungs, and oxygenated blood is pumped by the same heart to the various organs of the body. So two different routes for this kind of double circulation. There are two absolutely different routes. Okay, now talking about the accessory organs. So we have seen in fishes we have sinus venosus and conus arteriosus. In amphibians, this conus arteriosus, we have sinus venosus, and this conus arteriosus gets modified into truncus arteriosus. In reptiles, the sinus venosus gets reduced, and the conus, the truncus arteriosus now gets divided into 3 systemic arcs. Okay, the 2 systemic arcs basically form the aorta, main aorta, which is supplying blood to various organs of the body, and we have one pulmonary arc which is carrying the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Now in this case, in birds and mammals, the sinus venosus completely gets extinct. Okay, so there is no sinus venosus. We have an inferior vena cava which is carrying blood from the lower part of the body, and superior vena cava, which is carrying blood from the upper part of the body. They are carrying the deoxygenated blood to the right auricle of the heart. So there is no sinus venosus anymore. Okay, sinus venosus already got reduced in reptiles, and here it becomes completely extinct. Okay, so inferior vena cava and superior vena cava are the two channels through which the deoxygenated blood is getting poured into the right auricle of a four-chambered mammalian or bird heart. So pour blood into the heart can cope up. So now if you look, the heart is now pumping in pure oxygenated blood to the various parts of the body. In fishes, there was no role of the heart in pumping in oxygenated blood. It was just pumping in this deoxygenated blood while passing through the gills, got oxygenated. In amphibians, again in reptiles, it was the mixed blood which was getting pumped, but in birds and mammals, it is pure oxygenated blood from the heart which is reaching the various parts of the body, and hence heart can now cope up with the increased oxygen demand that is posed by the body. So this is one of the most evolutionary form of heart, because here the purpose of heart is to supply absolutely oxygen rich blood to all the various organs of the body. Okay, we will see more aspects to the mammalian heart. Just one moment. Okay, so we will talk about a little more about the bird or mammalian heart, and then we will finally move on to the human heart. Okay, so as we have seen that it's a proper four-chambered heart, and the sinus venosus has actually completely fused with the right atrium. So there is no sinus venosus anymore. It is the superior and inferior vena cavas which are pouring in blood from different parts of the body into the right atrium of the heart. And again, there is no intermixing of blood. So proper deoxygenated blood is pumped from the heart through the pulmonary artery into the lungs, and proper oxygenated blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins comes into the left auricle of the heart. So this is something that we have already studied in earlier standards, and we will be having ideas for the same as well. So we see a proper interauricular septum. So there is an interauricular septum which divides the ventricles as well. So there is a proper division between the four chambers of the heart. So completely developed, and this type of proper division is seen in some reptiles, as we have seen in some alligators, crocodiles. We have seen that this is there, the four-chambered heart is there. Okay, now the deoxygenated blood is basically carried by the different blood vessels of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava right up to the right atrium, and from here it enters the right ventricle. Okay, now the oxygenated blood is carried from the pulmonary veins and it enters the left auricle. So basically the ventricle is pumping it with the same pressure. When the ventricle contracts, the deoxygenated blood at the same time is pumped into the lungs through the pulmonary artery, and at the same time the oxygenated blood is pumped through the aorta into the pulmonary artery. Now one point of difference is that in reptiles we had seen that the truncus arteriosus, in reptiles the truncus arteriosus basically divides into three: one pulmonary arc, and then we have two systemic arcs. These two systemic arcs again combine to form the aorta. So from the ventricle portion, the truncus arteriosus is actually getting modified into three. It doesn't happen in the case of mammals. So this truncus arteriosus here is just dividing into a pulmonary aorta and a aorta. So there are no two divisions of systemic arcs. So there is one aorta which is carrying oxygenated blood from the heart to the various parts of the body, and there is one pulmonary artery which is basically branching out and carrying the blood from the heart, or deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. So that's the difference between a reptilian heart and a mammalian or a bird's heart. Now the mammalian or the bird's heart is the same, almost everything is the same. There is just one minor difference which we are going to see. Okay, so both of them have a four-chambered heart, proper division between auricles and ventricles by interventricular septum or interauricular septum. Okay, now basically the sinus venosus which was there, it completely merges with the right atrium. So the sinus venosus which was there in lower organisms now completely merges with the right atrium. So truncus arteriosus is already divided into two branches, the pulmonary artery and the systemic arch. Pulmonary artery, or this can also be called as aorta. This is can also be known as aorta. Okay. So in case of mammals, aorta takes, so now what is the difference between the bird and the mammalian heart? There is just one difference. In case of mammals, the aorta from the left auricle, this will basically take a right turn. This will take a right turn. Sorry, a left turn. I am so sorry. This will take a left turn in mammalian heart, and in the birds it will take a left turn. That is the only difference. Okay. Both have one aorta. In the mammalian heart it will take a left turn, while in the bird's heart it will take a right turn. So in birds, aorta takes a right turn. So if we compare the hearts of a amphibian and a mammalian amphibian heart is 3-chambered, while a mammalian heart is 4-chambered. In amphibians we have 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. In mammals we have 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. The oxygenated and deoxygenated blood mix up in the ventricle in case of an amphibian heart, whereas the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood, there is no intermixing in a mammalian heart. Blood flows into the right atrium through sinus venosus. Okay, so blood flows into the right atrium, it gets collected in the sinus venosus and then it flows into the right atrium. The sinus venosus is now completely absent. The sinus venosus was still present in a reduced form in reptiles, but now it is completely extinct. It now fuses with the right atrium. So there is no sinus venosus. Instead of sinus venosus, we will have the inferior vena cava and the superior vena cava, which are carrying blood from the different parts of the body and pouring it into the right atrium of the heart. Okay. A spiral valve is present in the conus arteriosus. So there is a spiral valve which is present. This is truncus arteriosus, sorry. Is present in the truncus arteriosus, which separates the flow of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So in truncus arteriosus, there is a spiral valve which is present in case of amphibians, separating the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood. There are 2 different blood vessels altogether. Pulmonary artery, which is carrying deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs, and aorta, which is carrying oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart, from the lungs to the heart. Okay, so this is pretty much about the birds and mammalians heart. We will look into the mammalian heart, particularly the human heart, in detail now.